Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell out before you blow up a plane.
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what, good to say I dabbled in stand-up or something. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when Ash takes off his shirt.
I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean.
Oh, hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Can everybody see me and hear me? Hope everyone's having a good day. Maybe you're eating some lunch. Maybe you snuck away from your office. Maybe you're sticking your head in the fridge. Either way, it's hot. It's hot out there. What is it, 91? Whew. No thanks. Okay. Howdy, fealty and peeps. So today we're going to cover a bit of, I don't know if I would necessarily call this Opie and Anthony lore, but I would call it Artie Lange lore. And he's sort of adjacent to the world. So it's related. So I'm covering the time that Artie Lange, famous comedian, known from the Howard Stern show primarily, but then of course had a and still does have a career by himself. He went on to the Joe Buck show. Who is Joe Buck, you ask? Joseph Francis Buck is an American sportscaster for ESPN. He's a little bit of a nepo baby. He is the son of sportscaster Jack Buck, who worked for Fox Sports from 94 to 2022. So very much a little bit of a nepo baby situation here. Okay, he's 56 now. So Joe Buck thought, I'm going to have just a fun little lighthearted sports chat show. Hello. Midnight Cowboy is canceled. What? Hi. So Joe Buck thought he would have this fun little show. Perhaps maybe just where they talked about sports or something a little bit lighthearted. I don't know. But he invited Artie Lange on to be a panelist on this show with two other actors. I believe the other actors are, God, you'll know them when you see them. They're very well known. They have a face you can't miss. Maybe it says in the details here. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da. The first actor is from, oh my God, Ant-Man and the Wasp. He played Ant-Man. Like he's the guy that Hollywood always jokes that he never ages. You know that guy. Paul Rudd. Thank you. Somebody came to work today, and the other guy is like similar to that. All right. So if you have never seen this before, it's very funny. We're going to recap it. We'll watch it together. And because I rewatched this last night, I did not think it was particularly offensive. This video is titled Artie Lange, the most offensive interview of all time, uncensored, from HBO. This was Joe Buck Live. And let's see, this was filmed 2009 or 2010. So a long time ago. I had never heard of this Joe Buck person until I saw this. So I guess it helped put him on the map for me. Yes, it's the days of HBO Unleashed. Now all we have is Opie Unleashed, unfortunately. All right, let me find a good format here. Boop, bada, bada. Yeah, let's do it like this. 2009. I know it was a very long time ago. Wow, the film quality on this.
Our thanks to David Keckner for playing Morden Anderson. That was not Morden Anderson. And joining us now, three guys who I am just
Paul
thrilled to have
Rudd.
on this set. First, an actor who you may have seen most recently, and I love you, man, Paul Rudd. Comedian Artie Lange of the Howard Stern Show.
This is back when his nose was still intact. And he got a little bit more
And a guy I
TV work.
love watching every Saturday night from SNL, Jason Sudeikis.
Yes, Jason Sudeikis,
I'll start with you, Rudd.
another actor.
I got on TMZ, my favorite website, and saw one of those ambush camera crews following you through some airport at some point in this country and some.
Like, I just don't know. I'm going to watch this again, obviously, but I don't know what he expected from Artie Lange. Because apparently going into this, Joe told Artie, go nuts, light me up, which means, I guess, roast me or do your thing, have fun. So I just don't know. He just handled it so poorly, Joe Buck, as you'll see.
Point in your life, asking you ridiculous questions,
Starts
poking the bear. Just
Paul Rudd, who's like just standard issue, classic. I mean, very talented, great career, but just a nice guy. You know, never going to offend anybody.
trying to make you make a mistake,
Right.
and you didn't take the bait.
I just wanted to get out of there as fast as I could.
Great.
But they
LAX.
linger.
Oh my God,
they
all
hang
of my
out there.
shirt.
Yeah.
But they linger, and they want you to say something that
spilled
they can
coffee
then
all over my
spin
shirt.
and turn around and blow up and get after TMZ website.
Right. You know, it's tricky. You just have to be on your guard, I guess.
Oh, yes. Great point from MG8. He did end up writing the foreword to Artie Lange's book. So, yes, they definitely did. Look, can we all take a moment to notice that, like, not even 5 minutes has gone by and I've already spilled coffee on my shirt. So, that's my level of professionalism. We'll just have my hair cover it and we won't speak of it again. The set in the studio makes no sense. Why are there random horns on the table? To honk when things get boring, of course. Hi, K-Max. You know, I don't think I have any horns on my set.
Here's a guy who's not on his guard.
No,
Artie
Artie Lange
Lange.
is much more entertaining on those.
Artie Lange.
there's
What
no
he should have done was go to Paul Rudd, go to Jason Sudeikis, and then go to Artie. Because the second he goes to Artie, the show has effectively been derailed.
Hard there.
Joe, TMZ is your favorite website? I thought, what's your second? Suckingcock.com?
Bad. He's calling him gay for liking TMZ.
Give it up! Give it up! Yeah!
I'm on TMZ constantly. Did you see what Angelina was wearing today? What the fuck? How about going to a sports website, for Christ's sake?
Jason,
Yeah.
would you like to follow that?
He is a sports guy.
Nah.
Okay.
By the way, I'm a Giant fan, so I hate the Cowboys. Michael,
Oh.
don't kick my ass, but I hate the Cowboys.
I thought you meant horns like horns to honk. These are animal horns. Because it looks like it's man cave aesthetic. Duh.
By the way, you owe me money. I lost a lot of fucking money on you, motherfucker. There's a guy in Staten Island named Bobo who you owe money to. But as a Yankee fan and a Giant fan and a well-known homophobic,
Clearly.
I'm also a well-known homophobic. It's like a white trash gift from God that the fucking Cowboys have a quarterback whose last name rhymes with homo.
Is that Tony Romo? I don't know sports.
You can say that shit on Angel Dust. I know I've tried, like Tony Homo. And he's dating a fat chick. Jessica Simpson started out looking like Jessica Simpson. Now she looks like Chris Farley from those Gap sketches.
Oh, so this is during the
Fuck
time.
him, fuck the Cowboys.
This is during the time during one of Jessica Simpson's many, weight gains. She's cute. She's back to being thin now. Everything evens out in the end. And a big deal. He called somebody fat. He's fat.
Jason. Jason, when we talk about fame and we talk about being plucked out of
Good
nowhere,
Yeah, that was not a segue at all.
you talk about scrambling for a segue. I just pulled a hamstring looking for some sort of segue.
I'll be pulling a hamstring later to fucking.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I want to be working construction by next Thursday, so I hate show business.
You're on your way.
So are you.
What's so funny about this is that they, I believe, only got to 3 or 4 episodes of the Joe Buck Show before it was shut down, and that's why this episode is so iconic. Is that a lot of people think that this was the episode that effectively ended the show, because HBO had a long chat with Joe after this, and it didn't go well.
You know the show's on HBO, right?
That's right. No one's watching.
What about you in the fishbowl? Have you had to deal with anything after coming out of nowhere and being on SNL all of a sudden?
Nothing horrible. No scuttlebutt to speak of it as of now. Mostly, I got to worry about my mom Googling me at this point, and then having to come up, with answers for that.
Artie went through therapy from his mom Googling him.
Well, first of all, I hate when Jason's mom Googles me. There's 80 websites predicting my death in a week. That's fun. Artie Lange's gonna die.com. But
look at him
it's
now.
exciting
He's
for me
still
to
living.
be here. Not because of you, but
Thank you.
because I loved your father. And I love you too. You're the best. He's great at what he does, Joe Buck.
Thank you.
He's like afraid. He's like, what is he gonna say?
Joe's father was a hero of mine. He used to do games for the Cardinals. He was an announcer, and he was one of the last real men's men. He wasn't politically correct like a pussy. And you follow him.
Like his son here.
Like I'm on a Howard Stern show. Howard's not a pussy, man. Howard says what he fucking feels, and clearly so do I. But I don't have as much money. But Jack Buck was your father.
Correct.
And it wasn't like a lot of people think Louis Armstrong. It was your father. Jack Buck was your father.
True. Is this gonna take a while?
Yeah.
This is,
sorry to ruin your fucking great show.
I
I'll
appreciate the apology because you have.
I'll tell it.
Oh my God. I appreciate the apology because you have. You have ruined my show. Only 5 minutes in. Calm down, Joe. What did you expect him to do? And he's going to eventually make kind of a sweet point here.
So Jack Buck is doing the 1990 National League Championship Series on CBS, and he wanted to talk about baseball. He was an old baseball guy, and CBS would make him do shitty promos for CBS.
That is funny that he said, "Oh, Howard's not a pussy." Okay, maybe in 2009, the early aughts, he wasn't. Now he is a pussy. Now. In 2025, I mean, not just in 2025, but he's for several years now. I would say the pandemic really let the world know how much of a not only pussy but germaphobe he is, and how insulated he is in his celebrity. So I would say a good 5 years at least, Howard's been in puss territory.
CBS movies of the week,
right,
in the middle of a play, and he didn't know what it was and shit. Like he didn't know what the movie was or the name of the actresses, but he was so brilliant at being a great announcer that he would use whatever the promo was to segue into the next play. So he would say stuff like,
he's giving his dad a nice
there's
compliment.
a fly ball of Bonds. He's there. He's got it. That's the way this one starts. And by the way, tonight on CBS, Meredith Baxter Bierney stars as a battered woman in something called I Want My Kids Back, the Jessica Connor story, starring Meredith Barney Baxter. She's a battered woman. Speaking of batters, here's Barry Larkin.
God, Paul, can I talk to you, please?
I like your dad.
What a tool! What a tool! He just it took a minute, but it was funny. He came around to it. Yet he's like, "Oh God, Paul, save me!" No, Artie is the funniest and best thing on this whole show.
I remember hearing the story when some kids were asked, they want to get in the business. What do you have any advice that you could give us? And Jack's advice was start smoking.
Aw.
You know what? I'm gonna take that right now.
You can't do that, sir. Sir, you cannot do that.
I'm not. I'm gonna.
Sir, he already pulls out a cigarette. Joe immediately freaks out. Sir, you cannot do that, sir. Would it really be so bad if he lit up a cigarette on an HBO show? What would happen? Could it be any worse than anything he's already said?
Like Beretta.
Okay.
I'm gonna kill my
In
wife.
jail? Good. Great.
I won't light it.
Okay. No, do you think I care about you smoking a cigarette after what you just laid out here?
And now he gives mixed signals. He says, do you think I care about you smoking a cigarette? To me, that sounds like go for it, light it up. And then Artie tries to light up and goes, no.
Let's do it, bro.
No, don't. Please.
Say what you mean, Joe. Shit,
right,
we got
I'm
an
hour. We will continue this with HBO Online, I think, unless they pull us. They pull the plug on it. Seriously, I want to ask you about. I've known you since we were 18.
Yeah.
You have not changed one bit.
Well, thank you very much. Or you.
Really?
Well,
Look at you.
Thank you.
Is there a picture of us, I think?
did he put the
I don't know.
cigarette
Do they
in
have
his
a
drink?
picture of us?
Oh no.
Yeah, Artie just put his cigarette in Paul Rudd's drink, and then Paul went to go drink it. I guess this is a picture of them from when they were teenagers. I assume that this is Joe Buck, and this is Paul Rudd. Wow.
There it is. There we are.
Look at that.
There's Paul Rudd on the far left. His hair neatly tucked into a ponytail.
Oh, wow.
Me with hair.
Do you still have those pleated acid wash jeans?
Yes.
Oh, my
They're in the
God.
dressing room.
There's Paul, and that's Sarah Jessica Parker.
I was
And Preston, who did the music, and David Garvin.
he
who's
was
in the
kind of
press.
like the Kristen Davis one.
I love you.
See, Paul,
It's
yes,
time
the
now.
ending, Artie's joke. He's like, and this is another person from Sex and the City that someone in the photo looks like. That's called being funny and improvising.
They're going to hang out. We've got one more segment left in the show.
Go, Joe. I gotta be up at
Let's go.
6 a.m.
Goodbye. It's called I Refuse to
Wow,
Hyperventilate.
that I believe him when he says that. Goodbye. Like, please leave the show. You've made it impossible for me to be funny or in control.
Just a few thoughts from me.
Wow.
We'd like to welcome all of you on Overtime on HBO.com as we continue our discussion. We've got the comedians on the stage.
The
We've
comedians.
got
They're not comedians. Just Artie is a comedian. And then there's two actors. What a weird thing to say. But he must be so, his feathers must be so ruffled at this point that he can't keep them straight. Also, we've all had bad days, bad shows. Like, right, everyone here's had a bad day at work. But when you're live on a broadcast like this, he broke the cardinal rule of like, you can't let everybody see you sweat. And he is sweating. He's lost control of the show. But what did you expect by having Artie Lange on? And also, if you told him to go nuts, I still don't know. What did you think was going to happen? He should just be rolling with it and laughing along and having a good time. And he's like holding on too tightly to this idea that he can somehow bring the show back to what I don't know. But he should just roll with it.
Michael right down there. Michael Irvin is still with us, kind enough to stick around. And anything else you'd like to get off your chest, Artie? You bastard.
Yeah, the jizz.
What?
The jizz.
Oh my God. You bastard. Like, thanks for ruining my show. When really it's like, dude, it's your show. Maybe you could have been funnier and better.
You shot on it.
Oh, I missed that.
Can you
Rewind a little.
Enough to stick around. And anything else you'd like to get off your chest, Artie? You bastard.
Yeah, the jizz. The jizz you shot on it.
Can he be removed? Is that
It's
possible?
the internet. I can't. What the fuck? There's coyotes fucking 18-year-old girls on the internet.
Oh, God.
It is true. Nothing says jizz like the internet.
Can I smoke on the internet?
No, you can't do anything.
He really just
I'm trying to save miles. I'm trying to get the kayak.
Jason, if you were me, how would you rescue your career at this point?
Yeah, I'd let him smoke.
Yes.
You want to see how to smoke a cigarette, still look cool, but avoid lung cancer?
That is impressive. That is impressive. I think it's in chin number 4.
You need.
This is the funniest thing Bill will say the whole show. So much so that the crowd gives him an applause break.
Here we go. Buckle in.
Number 4, the show you won't get to.
Right.
Oh boy, couldn't have been more accurate.
You're out of your league, Buck. Just
I
stick
know.
play-by-play.
I know.
Oh,
Believe me.
you're out of your league. Stick to play-by-play. He's right.
It was right after this segment started that I realized that.
You were funny with Favre.
Why are you giggling at me? You suck.
I'm in the middle.
Do something.
You
I'm literally
suck.
in the middle, and I feel like it's like heat and then cold, and it's combusted. It's to be in the midst of
You're your own weather system
I was
right now.
telling Paul this
It's like a
backstage, and I don't know why I know this, but when 3 gay guys are having a threesome, the guy in the middle is called the Lucky Pierre.
And I said, well, I just thought of my new email name.
I'm running the camera, I guess. or you are, and he's the lucky
yeah,
Pierre. It's
exactly.
really- you don't know.
I'm from Jersey. Watch what the fuck you say.
All right.
Oh, Jason's been the most boring person on this show. I forgot he was even there.
All right.
Have you eaten at Lucky Pierre's? It's great. It's an incredible.
See,
it's
Paul
incredible. I
is
think
yes
it's on
anding
West
it. He's
4th.
fun.
Michael, can you see me melting up here right now?
Michael don't give a shit. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Jason,
Yes, sir.
we just did this live.
Yeah.
You do your show live, right? I mean, is that a common
It's
last?
called Saturday Night
I know
Live.
it is. I know it is jerk off. I know what it's called.
Jerk off.
Yeah.
Like, here's jerk off. That's the way this one starts.
You're gonna pull me into a dark place in about one more minute, and it's not gonna be good.
Let's do it, brother. Let's fucking make some news, man.
No.
He's like genuinely so angry at him. I don't get it. What did he do that's so bad? He's so uncomfortable. You can't spar with the art. No, you cannot. Joe's play-by-play sucks too. There's a lot of taupe in the set, but yes, it's trying to look like a man cave, so a lot of browns. Yeah, there's absolutely chemistry issues.
True.
Pull me into a dark place.
If
and
I'm
blow
gonna
me
do
again.
it, I'm gonna
And
do
blow
it with,
me.
an A-list guy.
He made a comment that he's not an A-lister.
Oh.
Jerk off.
Yeah.
Like, here's jerk off. That's the way this one starts.
You're
Typically
gonna
line.
pull me into a dark place in about one more minute, and it's not gonna be good.
Let's do it, brother. Let's fucking make some news, man.
No, true.
Pull me into a dark place.
If
and
I'm
blow
gonna
me
do
again.
it, I'm gonna do it with an A-list guy.
Oh, that is so icky. You can tell that's showing a side of him I really don't like when someone's like, well, I would do it, but with an A-lister, meaning like you're not on my level. You're not the level that I would tolerate, this kind of joking with, or like I would be fun. I would be enjoying myself if you were an A-lister right now. It's like, this is who you got on your show. These are not nobodies. So stop being such a stick in the mud, Joe.
Where are you going to find an A-list guy? You're going to hang out by Letterman? You ain't getting one on here, brother.
Woody, are you
Want to do the Joe Buck show? No, I got to change my sock drawer.
are you like getting a pap smear, or what do you got? Put your feet down, for God's sake.
Listen, I'm trying to get comfortable. Somebody should look natural on the show.
Somebody should look at from the show. Oh, just everything Artie's saying is 100% spot on, and it's true, which is why it's rattling Joe. He can't come back with anything.
What is going on?
It turned into like a roast.
Hey,
Where's Jeffrey Ross?
Wait a minute, there's roast.
no.
And
are
Artie
you
even
glad
makes
you-
a fat joke at himself. He goes, "Oh, there's roast," and acts like he's sniffing around. He is just one of the best, and you can't compete with that.
Stopped filming and flew to New York for this, Paul?
I was here. But I wouldn't
Like
miss it for the
literally in
world.
the neighborhood.
Paul Rudd is an A-lister. He happened to be outside.
Thank you for saying that.
You are
It's not true at all.
an A-lister. This guy's in a lot of big
I would
movies,
say he's
man.
an A-lister, sure.
But
Not me and Jason.
No, but at least I've got a shot still.
Oh. Oh, putting down
I'll be
Artie.
making 80 grand a week at the theater this weekend, and you'll be making $11 an hour on SNL next fall.
Woo! Wow. Yeah, Jason's basically, I still have a shot still at showbiz. And then Artie's like, I'm going to be making 80 grand doing stand up in a theater, and you're going to make $11 at SNL. Oh, what a sick burn. You can't, this is the most replayed part of the whole video.
What is going on? It turned into like a roast.
Hey,
Where's Jeffrey Ross?
Wait a minute, there's roast.
now, are you glad you stopped filming and flew to New York for this, Paul?
I was here.
Oh.
But I wouldn't
Like
miss it for the
literally in
world.
the neighborhood.
Paul Rudd is an A-lister. He happened to be outside.
Thank you for saying that.
You are
It's not true at all.
an A-lister. This guy's in a lot of big movies, man.
But
Not me and Jason.
No, but at least I've got a shot still.
Wow. And then perfect comeback Artie has.
I'll be making 80 grand a week at the theater this weekend, and you'll be making $11 an hour on SNL next fall.
You have to get all the way out of Howard's butt to go to the gig, or does he come with you?
Hey, that's not
Let me tell
bad.
you something. You should go up Howard's butt. It's a good career move, brother.
All right.
And there's more room than in Lorne Michaels.
Oh.
I recognize the name, but I don't know the face.
You talking
Hey.
about Joe?
I'll tell you something. I wouldn't mind being a lucky Pierre between those titans of entertainment.
Hey, here's some
This is
inane
great,
conversation.
man.
This is awesome. I'm
Really?
so glad you were the last segment so we can continue.
Dude, this
My
is the last
misery.
segment
Fun to me.
ever.
I know.
Guys, does this strike you as like the most offensive interview of all time? Am I just jaded? I don't think it's that bad. I really don't think it's that crazy. Leave it to, yes, exactly. Leave it to Paul Rudd to be funny while he's also being diplomatic. Buck has always thought he's smarter than he is. He gives Nepos an even worse name. Yeah. Yes, great comment. Excellent point. K-Max for 5. What's up, homie? Chrissy, has a guest of yours ever lit up a cigarette on your show before? I think you would welcome it as well as enjoy a guest like Artie. I would love Artie. I've done Artie Lange's show at least once or twice. I was on there a couple of years ago with this girl, Trinity St. Clair. Yeah, he wanted like an adult film star girl on. So I brought her over, and but I haven't talked to him in a few years. If somebody lit up a cigarette, yeah, as long as it that's tricky. If it was like in my house or at the studio, it depends, but probably, you can open a window, you can air it out. If like they're not doing it in front of my baby or something, I would say, yeah, go with it. It's funny. Why not? Why not?
You went to high school together. No, I'm not pointing at you.
I didn't go to high school.
We went to the same high
Went to
school,
the same-
not together.
Yeah.
A little difference, but
Wow.
Wow, when you do that, it's there's a ripple effect. That's nice.
Artie is such a big personality, and he's so funny. Like, unless someone's bringing something equal to what he is, he's going to get bored, of course. And the crowd kind of is too. I mean, compare their conversation to anything that Artie said, and you're like, what? You're waiting for some kind of a punchline or something, some kind of an edge. He's like, we went to high school together.
My fourth chin is making a joke. I'm like you.
Jason
God.
and I are both from Kansas City. And
Big,
the funny thing about Kansas City,
Here
if
we
you
go.
go back in its history,
you big Royals fans?
I'm a Royals fan. I'm a Royals fan.
But you're a Steeler fan.
I was a Steeler fan growing up. Big, huge Steeler
One
fan growing
clap.
up. Still like the Steelers. I root for the Chiefs, kind of from around high school. But during like those 70s, the 70s era Steelers, all about the Steelers.
You a Kansas City guy through and through?
Yeah, but I mostly followed Kansas basketball. KU basketball is my
Did you go to KU? Did you go to?
I went to the basketball camp in 6th grade.
Did you meet Danny Manning? Was he there?
Larry Brown. Danny Manning was not there. He was probably on his way to get drafted by the Clippers at that point, or probably something with his knee maybe. But I met Larry Brown. He shook my hand very quickly, then moved on to shake some other kid's hand for more money. Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, that was a good camp. It was a good camp. It was a fun time.
I remember in Lawrence, our high school. I remember when West played Lawrence High and Danny Manning was playing for Lawrence High School, and everyone went, and it was amazing because he could dunk.
Yeah,
you didn't see that too much.
I guess this is maybe what Joe had in store. Like he was thinking, oh, it'll be like this kind of light, whimsical high school basketball kind of conversation, which is fine. But then just don't invite Artie Lange to that party. Because he's neither light nor whimsical.
Or Kansas, no.
Michael, I know you got a microphone out there. Is there
Thank
anything,
God.
Is there anything you can do? Yeah, please tell us your thoughts.
It's just refreshing to see white on white crime.
White on white crime.
He said it's refreshing to see white on white crime. That's good. That
You should see my bookie beat the shit out of me.
That's our last.
You should see my bookie beat the shit out of me. See, everyone's enjoying it. I think the only person who's not enjoying it is Joe. Dragonheart for 5. Thanks, buddy. If I was an audience member, I wouldn't know what to do with this energy after the show was over. Like, well, now what, LMAO? Yeah, it is tense. I think, Artie is just being Artie, and it's Joe who's tense and not kind of welcoming it and not creating like a soft place to bounce off of, kind of. So then Artie is going to tense up and like he's going to keep doing what he's doing and keep flinging jokes. And Joe is just going to continue to be tense, and he's treating it like actual attacks instead of just jokes on his show. So I think Joe feels like personally insulted by this, instead of like, let me think of a way to return a joke without sounding bitter, right? All his rebuttals sound like, well, this. I don't know. Oh, Junior, thank you for the 5. Anthony Cumia had Chris Hansen as a guest while Artie was his co-host, and he spent the whole interview making pedo jokes at Hansen. I remember that. It was incredible. See, he went with it, and that's why it worked. And Anthony's another example of somebody who, like, you just got to let them do their thing, let them run around, let them be funny. You're not gonna be in charge while these guys are on. That's for sure. Same thing with, like, God, any of those guys, like Colin Quinn or Rich Voss or Jim Norton. They're all the greats.
Comment of the night. Jason, Artie, Paul. That's it. Crowd, thank you.
That's it.
We're signing off.
That's it. The show was only 15 minutes long. Maybe it's just a segment. Maybe something's missing, but yikes.
HBO.com.
Oh, right. I guess the commercial breaks add up.
Too soon.
Why is anybody clapping for him? They're all clapping for Artie. They're like, and get ready to retire the graphics. Okay. So that was the actual footage. Then you fast forward it. Artie Lange now has a show. This was perhaps, I think, 12 years ago. Artie doesn't have a show anymore, I don't think. I think this was okay. So that show that we just watched happened in 2009, 2010, and now it is, I believe, 2013. Now Artie Lange has a show, and he has Joe Buck in studio. So they're going to recount the show. Let me pull it up. And I think there's actually 2 parts to this Artie Lange show. Okay, let me put myself in a little box. Okay. So here is Joe now on Artie's show, 3 or 4 years later.
Joe, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
You know, it's the other day I talked to Jay Moore. I was on Jay Moore's show.
Okay. Yeah.
And we were talking about you. And
Yeah.
he said that you actually stood up for me.
Oh, absolutely.
To him and said, you know what? He's a good guy. And he wrote the foreword to my book. And I went through that whole damn story again. The 9 millionth time.
How annoying.
Oh, my God. I'm so sick
No,
of it.
I know. But listen.
I think he's like, and already you can tell he's so much more comfortable, so much more happy, because I think he's at his best when he doesn't have to like run the show or be the focal point. He's better as a guest.
Listen, a good guy doesn't even begin to scrape the surface. I mean, you have been classy and just like treated me incredibly well. And it is our lives are linked together forever.
Right. That's great. I feel good about that.
I know my parents they were annoyed. I mean, it had to be them. But this is like this was fate for us. But
it is.
I go back over that night, and I gotta say, I do think, and you're very nice to me, saying that I didn't do anything that wrong, but I did in the sense that I went overboard. I went too far. It was HBO, and I thought I could be rated X, really, and that was the wrong call. But
yeah, but as I said to you 1,000 times,
That's very sweet of him to take responsibility. But again, he was just being himself. But now he realized, upon probably looking back at the show, he's like, wow, the things I was saying made him really tense.
It's HBO at 10 o'clock,
It was a
11
late night
o'clock,
thing,
whatever thing. And the next show is like G-String Divas or Cat House 9.
Real sex or
right.
something. Yeah,
Cornucopia 4. I mean, so you said bad words. You lit me up. I specifically went into the dressing room before, and I said, hey, when you come out there, light me up, have fun. That was my aim for that show.
He wanted it to be fun.
Edgy, and, you know, I really hoped when that thing was over.
He wanted the show to be edgy when he himself is not edgy. All right.
Their response was going to be, hey, tune in next time. Who knows what you're going to see?
Yeah, exactly.
And I basically had to threaten to quit to get that little thing we shot in Times Square to lead off the second show, which
people don't remember that I'm on the second show. Yeah, you asked me because I really felt terrible. You've developed a great impression of me.
Yeah.
The way,
They're like, look, man, I'm sorry.
I called.
Okay?
Wait, let me set this up. I called him up and left him a voicemail. Here it is.
He goes, hey, man, I'm sorry. I'm a comedian, man, and I got the first laugh, and I went a little overboard. And I never want to be in the way of somebody making a living, so anything I can do, I'm there for you, man. I'm sorry.
That's really good.
And so
I
was like, I know what you can do. Come on the second show.
Yeah. So we shot the beginning of the second show, but it really
revisionist history.
And everyone I've talked to, everybody in comedy, Dennis Miller came on this show and said that's what it's about. Like awkward television is fantastic.
Yeah, everything else is boring.
Right.
It sucks. I don't want to do it.
And quite frankly,
oh my goodness, what an interesting tidbit from Kevin here. I know his niece, her family doesn't like Joe and never talked to him. Ooh, I wonder why. Because he's not fun at parties. No, I just think Joe should have done this show with like 3 or 4 drinks in him.
That night, listen, it is so difficult to make a boring guest exciting. And I know you're a good man.
Yeah.
You probably never say this, so I'll say it. But Brett Favre, to me, left you hanging. I think Brett Favre, if he's not making a huge announcement, he's not exactly Robin Williams. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And I think you guys thought
drinking
maybe,
out of mason
because
jars.
it was one of those 2 million times where is he going to retire? Is he not going to retire?
Right,
and I think
but it was a big deal because he hadn't talked to anybody at that point. That was the only time
now he's
I've
saving face for
massaged
Brett.
an interview and said, look, I checked in with him every 4 weeks. I was like, you still going to come? You still going to come? Because he didn't talk to anybody before he decided he was kind of going to come back and go to the Vikings.
Right.
So that there was news there, and it led off, it was on the crawl.
on ESPN and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
there was news there. But yeah, I mean, Brett's just dry, and Brett was guarded. Let's
He
say
didn't know what to
guarded.
say. Like, I mean, well, listen, I
Wow.
think I was. in
They're
the
making it about something else. Like I think Artie's just trying to have a good conversation with him to put Joe in a good place. Like he's bringing up a topic that he knows Joe can talk a lot about to make Joe feel better about it, to kind of get over the hard feelings. It's like, well, we won't go over my episode, but I will try to like make you feel better in general.
room as a sports fan, hoping that he was going to say, "Listen, I'm coming back for sure," or something like that.
Right.
And I think that's what people thought. And then you have Chad Ochocinco, which besides changing his name to a number,
Right.
it's just one of those. He's a boring celebrity. He's like Dennis
He
Rodman.
doesn't think he is, though.
You're
Which
right.
is worse.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you heard this. I'm to try to get laid as much as him. I'm changing my last name to my cholesterol level in Spanish. It's Artie Cuatro dos Ocho.
That's a great joke.
You're at 428. That's impressive. You know what's? He's got shrimp po' boys waiting for you. Pork roll.
That might be my blood
That'll
sugar.
be nice.
No, but here's it. So you did as good a job as anybody could do with those two guys. And I'll even get one of my favorite moments in the history of Letterman. Cameron Diaz was on, and he had a similar problem you were going through. Cameron Diaz was on, and she told a story that was so boring.
So
she's angelic.
so he's doing this, and he's talking about boring guests. I think he doesn't want to say this, but I think he means to also say that the guests that they had on that night with Artie, Jason Sudeikis and Paul Rudd, like nice guys, but they were also boring. Artie was the only one making anything happen with any personality. The other ones were just like dead fish. And I don't know. He probably doesn't want to say that and make it seem like he's talking shit about the other guests, but like he's saying like as a comedian, he felt like he had to do the work to cover for the other boring guests to make it like enough of an interesting show. Why else would he bring that up? You know, if he didn't kind of mean Jason and Paul were kind of boring. So I feel like I had to do double duty.
Looking, but Letterman just has such contempt in him. And the old Letterman used to skewer people like that.
Right.
And the CBS Letterman didn't really do that, but I think he had finally had it. And it's one of my favorite moments in the history of his 30 years. Cameron Diaz tells a story and it bombs, and he lets it bomb. He doesn't throw her a life preserver.
Doesn't help.
And that doesn't help at all. And there's like silence, there's awkwardness, and she's like kind of looking around like what's going to happen, and he's not saying anything, and she doesn't know what to do, and she's almost blushing, and he looks at her after like 5 seconds and goes, "So how do you like making them movies?" And you know, it's just sometimes you can be a victim of a dull guest, and athletes when they're dull forget it. But you know,
you weren't dull.
No. Well,
let's jump to the end of the show. Dull, you were not.
And now Paul Rudd, did you grow up with him?
Oh, is he going
I
to say that
knew
Paul
him
was
from
dull?
The end of high school through college.
Okay, because you see him like you know each other.
Yeah, I knew him well. He dated my best friend's sister.
All right,
one of those things. So I knew him when he was at Kansas.
Yeah, why were they not
so
more
you know him from St.
entertaining?
Louis? You knew him. Okay,
He grew up in Kansas City. He went to KU. So he was there. Sudeikis, I didn't know. Sudeikis is a good
Jason,
guy.
I didn't know at the time. He's become a huge star now. I didn't know who he was at the time.
Right.
But,
right. And they were sitting there like somebody cut their tongues out.
Listen, you're being a
Yes,
nice guy.
thank you for saying that. It's like, you know what? At least Artie's being real and letting it fly a little bit. The other two were very stiff.
But
whatever.
I went too
it's
far.
Fine. What? I don't care.
The first Joe, your family was there. The first joke I made had the word "sea sucker."
Right.
Sea sucker.
So I had a lot of questions. I told you.
He doesn't
I
even
made
say
a
the full
joke to
thing on
somebody.
his
I said
show.
I
Sea sucker.
preemptively washed my kids' mouths out with soap just because of what they heard and what could potentially come out of their mouths someday.
Well, I'm glad.
My daughter at that time my youngest was 8. She's like, what was he talking about? Yeah, that was nice.
No, but I'm glad that you're nice about it. You say, and again, Ross Greenberg, really nice guy, and I'm such a fan of his work. And I feel bad because
but the reaction was ridiculous.
Yeah,
ridiculous. They wanted you deported. They wanted you.
Really? Oh wow! So that was at HBO.
You know this better than
Exactly.
anybody because you know you have a sense of humor. Sports people, I find, take themselves really seriously.
Yeah,
man.
it's so annoying, and
Mm.
that was the next.
It's
show
like,
was 3
dude,
months
you
later.
did not. You took yourself too seriously that day. It seemed. He's like, you're cool now, but sports people, not you, of course, but other sports people take themselves too seriously.
I'm going into every venue, every stadium, and every time I'm walking in, some guy, Artie Lange!
That's great.
I'm like, oh, that's how I go into the game in Philly. Artie Lange!
It's Philly.
In New
great.
York,
Yeah.
in wherever.
Well, no, because I was thinking your schedule is insane
Mhm.
anyway without that. So I was going in my head saying, because I had a crazy schedule with Stern and The Road. And I said, you're doing that show, preparing for it, because you probably had a whole writing staff and everything.
No, you would think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Really, yeah.
No,
You need a budget.
Me and a producer and
Well, listen.
some tape.
God, being yelled at Artie Lange too in here.
Yeah, it's on. I'll have that for the rest of my life. It's why I shut down my Twitter. How many times can I read Artie Lange?
Oh, that must be great.
It's awesome.
Wow, they
Well,
really
yeah,
got
your
to
name too,
him.
but it classens up my life.
You know what the worst thing is? I found out
What?
is what my last name rhymes with.
No, I know. Yeah.
It
That's
is
a tough
so bad. I
How
learned
did
it
you
in
not know
first
that?
grade. I got it in first grade, and now because not only the obvious one, but
Yeah.
sucks.
Oh, yeah,
everything.
yeah.
It's like
Joe
I can't
suck.
get away from it.
Yeah, that's a bad that's a bad rhyming scheme.
Right.
Or cuck. Yeah. Wow. Artie's being very gracious there. Okay, now let's go into part two. Part two of this interview. I guess he just needed a few years to loosen up, it seems, or maybe just not the pressure of hosting his own, entertainment show. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea.
Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Joe Buck is here. My mother just texted me. She watches live all the time. She said, Joe Buck's children are beautiful.
Oh, well, they are.
Aw.
Thank God.
I'm looking over the Beach Bowl that we're playing in for DirecTV, and on my team is Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger's daughter, Ireland Baldwin. And I cannot wait right now. I'm going to admit this right now. I cannot wait for her to drop a pass so I could go, you rude little pig. You are a rude little pig.
She's grown up tough. She'll
Yeah,
be good.
She looks like such a pig, doesn't she? My God.
That's what Ellen
It's
did.
gonna be fun.
Wow.
So now, what is a week like this for you, Joe? When does it ramp up for you? And do you have it down pat? Is it crazy preparation?
Yeah, it's a long
Look how
week,
much
and
more comfortable he is.
believe the last thing I'm going to do is complain because
He's better when he is a guest, and then when people are talking to him about the things he knows about, which is sports. Who the hell thought that he could host a live talk show? I don't know.
I'm the luckiest guy in the world to do this stuff. But yeah, my fiance works for the NFL Network. She's been up at 3:30 every morning to go do their morning show.
Wow.
So we have done literally nothing all week. And everybody's like, hey, how about the fill in the blank?
And see,
shit?"
even though he's boring, this is why Artie is a great host. He laughs and provides lubricant for the show. Like, it helps him to feel good about what he's saying. Joe, it helps him to keep going. That's how you host a show. Make the other person look good.
That you work.
I
You're
just can't
working
do
for a living
that.
this week. Like, have you seen the Book of Mormon? No,
Right.
I'm working. Maybe
Right.
maybe next week. I'll have
And
time.
as far as bars or parties, I
Yeah.
just don't feel if I'm doing the game on Sunday, I need to be seen like stumbling out of some party or
it's
some
professional. You're being
bar.
professional, yeah.
I mean, God forbid you say the wrong team wins on Sunday. And they're
Again,
like,
in this
let's
age.
roll the tape
Right,
back, and
right.
here's why he
Mhm.
came out of the Jay-Z concert.
Here's you coming out of McGillicuddy's on Second
He
Avenue.
didn't look right.
Slurring that. Seahawks by 8.
Right. I got TMZ the last time I was doing the Super Bowl.
He really
in
loves
LA,
TMZ.
The Saturday before, which, you have a week, you have 8 days. And they come up to me coming out of a bar, and I'm like,
Right.
I am going to enunciate every word and not blink to the point where it's just like, yes, I believe the Green Bay Packers will win. You just can't.
And then what'll happen? Joe Book sounded like he was trying too hard.
Right.
I think
This
he's
guy
on.
sucks.
I think he's on Vicodin.
Right. Angel dust.
Like that. Angel dust. That's
Angel
great. That's
dust.
the drug you chose.
That's a good
Mhm.
No, I
callback.
tweeted out this. Joe Leone made this beautiful antipasta, and I tweeted out to all of my followers. The first comment I get back is, "Did you eat it already, you fat f?"
It's a beautiful world.
Aw.
I mean,
Yeah, I like
thank
the
God
halfway
everybody's
house.
rooting.
Are you encouraged by your bosses, shall we say, at the network to tweet or they want you to stay away from?
Yeah, Artie's asking him about things he knows about and can talk about, which is something Joe did not do. He tensed up at the first joke, and he tried to be on the defense for the rest of the show. But Artie's really showing him like this is how you host a show. This is how you make someone feel welcome.
Stuff.
They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't
never
care.
had a comment talk about that.
I mean, there was a kind of a push 2 years ago to tweet and do all that stuff, but
That's promotion, but
you
it
know,
just creates nuttiness.
it does.
Yeah.
And I think what it does in a real way is it forces everybody into being as boring as they possibly can.
You're
Because
right.
if
On
you
Twitter?
care about what
What are you
these
talking
people
about?
say, and some of it's good, and a lot of it's
Oh,
positive.
wow.
And
He just said it forces you to be as boring as possible because you care about what people say. So he's so afraid of offending anybody. So he's like the opposite of a comedian, really, and that's why he's boring.
some of the things are constructive. Even the criticism, you go, yeah, that makes some sense. But the real negative ones, if you care about that,
Yeah.
then it forces everybody to be absolutely like a robot,
Right.
and so that you don't step out of line and you don't incur this wrath from these people. And what the best thing I did
The
was
hate
take Twitter
mobs.
off my phone, was take all that stuff, and I've had more fun this last year doing it because
Just get it out of your head. Yeah.
whatever. If
Right.
until the people at Fox
Let's
tap
see if
me
he's
on the
back
shoulder
on.
and say, "Hey, it's been fun, goodbye."
Right.
It doesn't matter what anybody says.
Well, you make a good point because what happens is it's
See if
it's
Joe
awful
Buck
for
is
the
still
world of
off of
comedy too
Twitter.
because everybody's afraid to take a risk. The only way to
Yup.
get better in comedy is to take a risk. You got to go on stage and risk bombing. But
Yeah.
everyone's afraid to do that because they think whether you're at a club at Cincinnati at midnight, some kid's got a phone, and if you take a risk, you're going to be on Twitter bombing.
Right.
That's all they think about. In the old days, it was just you and those people in that room. You get
Yep.
away with it.
Yeah.
So people don't improve. They just have that 1 7-minute perfect set that's not going to bomb, and you're never
Mhm.
going to change either.
Right. That makes all the sense in the world. And I, again, to go back to what we said before the break, people are stuck with me doing the game with Aikman on Sunday, whether they
Right.
like me, hate me, whatever. And so you're just going to invite all that stuff. So if you can just divorce yourself from it, be yourself.
He's
the people
too
at
old
Fox
to have
like
fun
me, they
on
seem
Twitter.
to.
Oh, my God, you've been
And
there
so,
long enough, right? Yeah.
Whatever. I'll
Also,
just do
yeah,
the game.
you have been working for other people for so long, and other networks. Of course, you're gonna have this ingrained fear of getting fired, of getting canceled, of oh, I said the wrong thing. Now there's people after me. He just doesn't know any other way, right?
Game and you know that you're going to have 120, 130 million people listening to what you say. And
That's amazing. That when you officially sign on, it's live, man. I know you've been doing it forever and you're a pro, but even as someone in show business, I get butterflies for you. That's something else.
It is. The weirdest part is the stupid on camera at the beginning when
You got to describe
"Hello,
what's going on.
welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Joe. This is Troy. And
All
here's
the
the
obvious-
awkward
You're
part
100%
that
right,
nobody's
Kevin.
listening to, and yet all you feel
He's too
like is
full
if
of
I
himself to have
bomb
fun.
this, I'm going to be on YouTube for the rest of my life.
It's like the opening monologue in the Oscars.
Yeah,
for a
he's just
comic.
too afraid.
I talked to Chris Rock once about that when he hosted the Oscars. He's like, that first 10 minutes, man, it's got to be, if that's good, I'm fine.
Right.
And you got the same thing.
Totally. Once the game starts, I'll just do the game. And even if you make a mistake, whatever. People,
How hard
the
could it
normal
be to
people don't listen
talk
to
about
a
what's
game
going
like
on?
they want to be. They want to enjoy the game.
don't have to
If
come
I
up
get
with
hit by
anything.
a bus or a falling icicle when I'm walking in and I die,
Right.
they're still going to play the game and they're still going to show it, and the rating's still going to be off the charts.
There'd
and
be a
who
nice,
cares?
there'd be a nice tribute.
It'd be a nice, maybe a half a moment of
I'd
silence.
hope they show our clip for that.
Yeah.
Got to take another break. Joe Buck
Now
is
he's got a
here,
good sense of humor
back
about
in
it.
with
Now he's
Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Joe Buck
here.
is here. And
There's more.
what about
There's
all these
more.
crazy stories that have come out? Richard Sherman. Like when you see Richard Sherman, how does that affect your life? Is that something you're going to
I
address?
like that guy.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's great.
I really do. And he came into our meeting
it really is. This has all the makeups for a classic. I can't wait to see what happens.
it does.
Yeah.
And I kind of think, and I don't know what you guys think, but I think the game probably will be won the other way. I think the game is going to be won or lost with Seattle's
Yeah,
offense.
they're just talking about sports. That's that. They just talk about sports. It's better now. There was a tweet that Artie put out I'm back. Don't worry. There was a tweet that Artie, there's something like with this laptop, when I switch windows, it kicks me out. It's a little fun quirk about this computer. I will present one last thing. This was a tweet that Artie put out, I think, right after this happened, right after this whole event went down on his show. This is from Artie Lange's Twitter. He tweeted this January 9th, 2019. Joe Buck tells it how it happened in this clip. He was never mad or intimidated in regards to what I did on his show. The fact is, I took it too far, but Joe reacted like a pro. He's being really nice here. He does a brilliant impression of me, by the way, and it's definitely what I told him. And then it has the link here to, I believe, that clip. Oh, okay. So then it goes to another show where he talked about this, which is interesting, and I will show. He went on, this is right after it happened, In Depth with Graham Bensinger. This is also funny. Joe Buck to Artie Lange, light me up, I can take it.
You mentioned the HBO show is obviously, short-lived.
show.
Supposed to be
about as short as you can have a show.
This was 8 years ago. So quick, do the math. 15, 25, 24, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17.
I don't know that it qualifies.
As a talk show, quarterly ended up lasting 3 of the scheduled 4.
Quarterly ended up as a third.
Right.
Thirdly.
Or 75%. Did it last for
It's not a
3 of
bad
them?
grade. It's like a solid C.
Yeah,
Aw.
exactly. But, apparently between the first and the second show, it ended up becoming pretty heated between you and HBO. I think at one point, you're sitting in your car
looks like a
on the
toe.
phone with
His whole
HBO,
head.
literally screaming at them. Why did it become so
Or a
heated?
thumb.
Deny that. When Artie Lange came on in, and I can't assume that everybody knows what the Artie Lange situation is, but he came on the live HBO show, and he was exactly what I asked him to be. I mean, it was over the line.
And Lange being Howard Stern fan.
Yeah.
Comedian.
But I went into him beforehand. I said, "Look, man, when you get out there light,
See, like a Howard
can
Stern
take
comedian.
it's fine.
Turns
want it
out
to
I
be
couldn't
fun.
take
I
it.
want it to be." We talked afterward. I mean, we got pretty vulgar, and it was tough to sit there because I couldn't really jump back at him. I had to be the host, and so that was hard to just sit there and take it and not give back. But
No, you should have given back. Just because but that's the thing, is he didn't know what to do and he got awkward. Being the host doesn't mean like you're not yourself. You just have to move the show along when you need to. But that doesn't mean you sit there boring the whole rest of the time.
that's fine. That didn't make me upset or sad or mad or like want to go suck my thumb in the corner.
He just
that's what
out
we
of his
asked
control.
for. And so HBO reacted like they were going to have him deported. And the frustrating thing for me was, we led into like pornucopia or something. It wasn't like it was that. This wasn't like on PBS. So he did what we expected. And he and I talked a couple days later, and he's like, "Look, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I got a little carried away. I got the first joke, the first laugh, and I'm a comic. That's what I do." So that's a pretty good Artie Lange.
That was impressive, actually.
He's like, aren't you going to clap for my Artie Lange impression? Which is funny because Artie is smart. Artie's very like empathic, interpersonally attuned. So he knows that Joe responds well to flattery. And like Joe's the kind of person who likes to think he's funny and has a good sense of humor, but like doesn't. Like he might laugh at jokes, but he's not creating much of the humor himself. But like Artie's so smart. That's why I was like, oh wow, what a great impression. Even in that tweet that Artie wrote, he's like, oh, he does a great impression of me. Like he does it's not a great impression. It kind of sounds like him, but again, he's being very gracious to Joe and kind. And he's kind of being like, oh wow, it's a funny impression. It's good to kind of build him up, make him feel good about himself.
leading into show 2, we've got to have him back. You know, everywhere I go, people are yelling Artie Lange and whatever. I said, we've got to have, I can't act like that didn't happen. So I'm not going to walk out on the stage and they're like, under no circumstances are you going to even refer to Artie Lange. I said, you got the wrong guy, because I'm not going to walk out there and avoid that. I said, I'm either going to do the show and talk about Artie and have Artie on in some capacity, or I'm not going to do the show, because that's not me. And I'm not going to go out there with my hands tied behind my back. I ended up talking to the head of HBO, and he said, it's over and done with. Forget it. Don't talk about it. And I'd already booked Artie to do the cold open with me in Times Square. And so we wrote it up. I said, well, think about it. Either cancel the show or have him on. But that's the way I as the host, want to do it. And obviously, it's up to you. It's your network.
Wow.
And so they said,
so Joe, even though he was a little bit stiff and couldn't handle it, and the show was completely out of his control, he stood by Artie, it sounds like.
okay, against our better judgment, we'll let you do it. But make sure it's done well and make sure it's done tastefully, which is their right to do. And so, as it turns out, we do this comedy bit, where I bump into him in Times Square and it spins him around, it spins me around, and he's looking at me like the Belushi, like, hey, old buddy. And I look at him and I kind of acknowledge him, and then I just sprint through Times Square, and he turns and runs after me. And that's how we started the second show. And in the room, when that came up, the place went crazy. They loved it. And HBO afterward, to their credit, they were like, it was funny, and it was the right thing to do. And it put it to bed. I never had to say one more word about it on that show.
A great way to start a live show.
It is. It was fun. I mean, my God, everything's so serious. And if you can't laugh, or if you can't joke or whatever, or that.
Sounds like he likes to think that he's funnier and more easygoing than he actually is. Or maybe he just got so nervous worrying about like what the executives were going to say that he couldn't relax after that. Like, he was hearing what Artie was saying, instead of being present in the moment and giving it back to him. He just was like, oh my God, am I going to get canned? Am I going to get in trouble? Which sucks.
Nobody got killed. It just was what it was. And you move on. I've never acted that way.
He does look like grown-up
What do you think
Milhouse.
you learned from, the whole experience?
I learned so much in 3 shows. First of all, I did a live talk show, which is pretty rare. And I got through them, and I was comfortable, and I liked a lot of the interviews. They weren't all great, but that's live TV. But I think I learned to kind of make sure what I jump into suits how I want to be represented. And I'm sure they would say the same thing.
So
we
be
all shook
even more
hands
careful.
and walked away, and it was fine. There's no ill will.
He
but
needs
I wish
to
we had
have
gotten
a
more.
certain control over what he does, because he's so afraid of being misrepresented or basically canceled. Like, he's so afraid of being associated with somebody else's performance on a show. He just can't do that kind of a show again. He needs to have it tightly controlled for his image, which, gosh, that's unfortunate.
Of a chance to do shows and see where it evolved, how it evolved, and where it got, because we only did 3 shows and they were spread out with months in between. And somebody said to me, that's like canceling Conan after 3 nights, like on Wednesday.
I'm sorry, are we comparing Joe Buck's show to Conan's show?
I wish we had a better crack at doing it for a longer time and just see what came out of it.
To get the reps. I mean, as you've even said
You
to
have to do
students,
it.
like, there's nothing that, can prepare you for something until you're actually, in there doing it.
Yeah, you can't get polished at anything unless you do it a number of times. And that's the only way to do play-by-play, and that's the only way to host a show.
Back in '99, you said 10 to 15 years from now, I don't think I will be doing play-by-play.
Let me tell you
anymore.
why I said that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I think I would still say that going back in time, because I grew up around this. I've been around a booth and doing play-by-play since I can remember. And I haven't done it all my life, but I did the Cardinals. I started in 1991 full time.
Doesn't he just
I've
sound
been at
boring?
it for a while now. And,
Woo!
at some point, whatever the next chapter is, it'll be. But I just don't see myself growing old doing it. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll eat these words.
This is another really good comment from Kevin S. These people don't realize that they come off as aliens. That's why podcasts and shows like that will never work for me. Yeah, you're right. Because you know what? They're so used to being part of shows that are so heavily processed and controlled and pre-written. Like there's an audience with being told to laugh. Every aspect of the show is carefully curated and controlled, that when it's just like, yep, it's just you up there with the microphone, go nuts, they feel naked, and they just need a certain degree of control in the projects they do. But that's what a good observation. They come off like aliens. It's so true. It is funny. It's kind of funny. Deeply closeted homosexual. When in doubt, yes, someone's just a closet homo.
And I love what I do, but I think eventually the travel, the weekend stuff, something else will come up. Life's too precious and too many things happen to say when I'm 65, this is what I'm going to be doing. I hope I am 65 someday. Maybe I won't be. One thing I'd like to do is I'd like to teach. And that may be difficult considering I didn't graduate college. But if they're willing, some university or high school is willing to teach or hire a teacher that doesn't have a degree, I'm your guy. Because I'd like to teach broadcasting. I'd
That
like
he
to
could do.
kind of give what I know and see, a young person who desperately wants to be a big league announcer improve. And, I feel like I'm at that point.
He's
I
thinking
had
about his
so many things
legacy.
given to me and just through life experience and so many things that
I
my
had
dad
so many things given to me, like a true Nepo baby.
showed me by example that I'd like to turn around and give that to others that want to do it. And it's such a popular profession now that I think I could have a lot of fun doing that.
Aw, how nice. He wants to pass on his skills to the next generation. Well, that's just nice. Isn't that nice? Oh, the StreamYard. Well, see, we learned a little something about Joe Buck. I have a little bit of grace for him, a little more patience towards him. Like, yes, he is a stick in the mud, a little bit of a tightwad. Maybe his underpants are a little too tight, but we understand why. He's just not a funny guy. Comedy is not his world, and he just doesn't have enough practice doing that to feel comfortable. So that explains why that went the way it went. And him and Artie are in a good place now, and all has been forgotten and forgiven. And they both are very successful with a lot of money now. So it's all good. It's all good now. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Other thoughts. If you find another fun tweet or fun stream of them talking about it, send it my way. And we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.